those with emergency traffic may break in with their call sign at any time, and I will acknowledge their emergency traffic. Is there any emergency traffic at this time? The format of this net is that I will first call for certified Skywarn spotters using the first letter of the call sign suffix. I will then call for any late or missed Skywarn spotters, and finally I will call for visitor check-ins. Visitors do not have to be a certified Skywarn spotter or a member of YACS to check into the net. Your participation is welcomed and encouraged. After the check-in portion of the net, I will then provide my weather information and or Skywarn spotter training plan for tonight's net. The suffix groups are A through H, I through M, N through R, and S through Z. A through H, please come forward.
W7GRD, along with W7 SLD, and we are mobile.
K7 EZS, negative traffic.
Alright, I got W7GRD and W7SLD mobile and K7 EZS. Any others A through H? Alright, certified spotters in I through M suffix group. N through R. And S through Z.
YMA.
W7SLY and W7SAN.
N0 R8Z.
K7 SMI, eye in the sky.
Alright, I got K7YMA, W7SLY with W7SAN, N0RHZ, and K7SMI. Any others in the S through Z suffix group?
WB6SLA with KV7OUL mobile. No traffic over.
Alright, we got WB6SLA and KV7OUL mobile. Thanks for checking in. Alright, let's throw out a call for any late or missed Skywarn spotters. Any suffix group. Any visitors that want to check in tonight, please do so at this time.
Good evening all, Kilo Mike 6 Mike uniform here.
Alright, I got KM6MU. Thanks for checking in. Alright, let's throw out a call for anybody else, certified or not. Alright, looks like there's 12 of us out here this evening. As a matter of housekeeping, I will not be available next Tuesday, so there will not be a net again next Tuesday, which is the 22nd. So we'll meet again on the 29th. So, again, no net next week on October 22nd. Alright, on this date in weather history, 1880, a violent early season blizzard raked Minnesota and the Dakotas. Winds gusted to 70 miles per hour. At Yankton, South Dakota, snowdrifts were 10 to 15 feet high. In northwest Iowa and southeast South Dakota, St. Paul, Minnesota reported a barometric pressure of 26.65 inches on the 16th. Railroads were blocked by drifts of snow, which remained throughout the severe winter to follow. Gales did extensive damage to ships on the Great Lakes on the 15th and 16th. Alright, my formatting was off a little bit. This is easier to read. On this date in 1954, Hurricane Hazel struck the Carolina coastline. The hurricane demolished every pier along a 170-mile stretch from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to Cedar Island, North Carolina, and obliterated entire lines of beach homes. Hurricane Hazel also destroyed 1,500 homes as it moved inland with 17-foot tides. Winds between Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Cape Fear, North Carolina, gusted to 150 miles per hour. Hurricane Hazel caused $163 million in damage and claimed the lives of 98 people. On this date in 1966, Iowa experienced its worst late-season tornado of record. In just 1 minute, a twister tore through the town of Belmond, leveling 75% of the businesses and 100 homes, causing more than $11 million in damage. In 1987, on this day, unseasonably cold weather continued in the eastern United States, with 13 cities reporting record low temperatures for the day. The low of 34 degrees at Montgomery, Alabama was their coldest reading of record for so early in the season. Lows of 32 degrees at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and 34 degrees at Parkersburg, West Virginia marked their third straight morning of record cold. In 1988, the cold, high-pressure system responsible for the record low temperatures in the eastern United States began to move out to sea, giving way to a trend toward Indian summer. Thunderstorms developing ahead of a cold front produced golf ball-sized hail at Altamont, Kansas, and hail 2 inches in diameter at Yates City, Illinois. On this date in 1989, Hurricane Jerry made landfall in Galveston, Texas at 6:30 p.m. Winds at the Galveston airport reached 75 miles per hour with gusts to 100 miles per hour. Tides along the island were 6 to 8 feet, and rainfall totals ranged up to slightly more than 6 inches north of Beaumont. 3 persons were killed when their vehicle was blown off the Galveston seawall into the pounding surf. Total damage along the upper Texas coast was estimated at $15 million. Thunderstorms produced severe weather in lower Michigan during the late morning. 2 persons were injured when a tree fell on their camper at the Traverse City State Park. While strong northerly winds ushered much colder air into the central United States, unseasonably warm weather continued in the south central and eastern United States. The afternoon high of 82 degrees at Bluefield, West Virginia, was a record for October. In 2010, a trained weather spotter in Sun Lakes, Arizona, reported dense blowing dust with visibility reported to be less than 1/4 of a mile. Winds were estimated to be in excess of 40 miles per hour. Other trained weather spotters in southeastern Phoenix, metropolitan area, and communities such as Gilbert, Higley, and Chandler reported a dust storm with visibilities at or below 1/4 of a mile. The dust storm caused significant disruption to traffic at the tail end of rush hour. And in 2019, the world high temperature today was in Kuwait, 113 degrees Fahrenheit. The world low temperature was research Dome A in Antarctica at minus 86 degrees Fahrenheit. The maximum 24-hour precipitation was Vietnam at 13.70 inches. The national high today was 102 at Falcon Lake, Texas, and the national low was 9 degrees above zero, 4 miles southwest of Grand Lake, Colorado. This is W7JLW for ID, and this is the Yuma Skywarn General Information Net. In Yuma, the high today was 91, 2 o'clock p.m. 105 was the record for the date, set in 1958. 90 is the normal high for this time of year, so we're 1 degree warm on the high side. The low this morning was 63 at 7 a.m. 43 is the record low set in 1899. 65 is the normal low, so we were 2 degrees below normal on the low side. No precipitation to date. Since January 1st, 1.49 inches has officially fallen at the airport, which still puts us an inch and a quarter below normal. The highest wind speed today was 7 out of the north. The highest gust was not reported. An error at the reporting station. However, they're giving us an average wind speed of 2.4 miles per hour. Relative humidity, the highest was 43%. Lowest was 23%, for an average of 33% relative humidity. The sun came up this morning at 6:42 a.m. and went down at 6:06. The sun will come up tomorrow at 6:43 a.m. and will set tomorrow night at 6:05 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Our weather synopsis is very typical mid-October, mundane, yet pleasant weather will persist across the region this week. Temperatures will warm somewhat through the middle of the week, with the lower desert communities reaching back toward the mid-90s. A fast-moving, dry weather system will force temperatures back down around the seasonal average by the weekend. Weather on the sun is also mundane, so activity continues at very low levels. The sun continues to be spot-free. No sunspots. The forecast is for more of the same. The solar flux indices are expected to remain in the upper 60s. There's no significant chance of any solar flare activity, and the K-index is expected to be in the 2 to 3 range. All right, as far as weather goes in the news, Typhoon Hagibis is the big weather item as it hit Japan, killing more than 50 and flooding thousands of homes. In fact, one town in Japan received over 32 inches of rain in a single calendar day. Search and rescue crews dug through mud and scoured riverbanks Monday in Japan looking for people left from the powerful Typhoon Hagibis. At least 55 people were killed, 16 were missing, and about 100 were injured, according to the Kyoto News Agency. Many places in southern and central Japan remained flooded Monday and were covered with mud and debris left by torrential rains and overflowing rivers caused by Hagibis. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport, and Tourism said 37 rivers in Nagano, Fukushima, Ibaraki, and 3 other prefectures had flooded. The town of Hakone, I don't know if you can pronounce that Hakone or Hakone, in Kanagawa Prefecture, southwest of Tokyo, received 36.32 inches of rain on Saturday, a record for a calendar day, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency. More than 3,400 homes across the country were flooded, and 38,000 people remain in shelters. On Monday, there had been, as they had throughout the day Sunday, helicopters hovered over flooded areas while rescue crews tried to free people from homes buried by landslides. The major typhoon has caused extensive damage far and wide in eastern Japan. The typhoon made landfall in Shizuoka Prefecture about 7 p.m. Saturday with winds of nearly 90 miles per hour. In Nagano, 360 people were stranded after a levee on the Shikuma River collapsed. Rescue helicopters plucked victims from rooftops of flooded homes. A man was safely rescued later in the day. Noriko Kubota, 79, said she was packing. Let's go back. I skipped over that a little bit, so let's just go. I don't want to read the whole thing, but so the man, Okano, 39, was waiting for his father to be rescued. As he spoke, we bought him a new car recently, but it must be covered in mud now because the first floor of his house is completely filled with water, he said, and didn't have anything to eat, so hope he will be rescued soon. Then it says the man was safely rescued later in the day. Noriko Kubota, 79, said she was packing to leave her home after officials ordered her to evacuate about 6 a.m. Sunday. I was hurrying to pack my stuff when the floodwater suddenly rushed into the first floor of my house, and the level soon rose to my ankles, Kubota said. At that point, I just abandoned everything and ran to the bridge near my house. I waited on the bridge with my neighbors, but the water level increased to the point where it was touching our feet, so I was terrified. I had never experienced something like this before and didn't really understand what was going on. Near Nagano Station, a fleet of bullet trains parked at the East Japan rail yard was swamped. The company said 10 trains, a third of the bullet trains used in the area, were damaged by flooding. More than 375,000 homes were without electricity, and 14,000 had no running water on Sunday morning. And then the other item of news in that typhoon, a Panamanian cargo ship with 12 crew members sank in Tokyo Bay on Saturday night during the storm. 7 crew members were killed, according to the Coast Guard officials, and 1 remains missing, Kyoto News reported. Bags of decontaminated waste from the Fukushima No. 1 nuclear reactor washed into the river in the city of Tamura in Fukushima Prefecture, the Japan News reported. 6 bags, each weighing about a ton, have been recovered so far. Officials said there was no immediate danger to the public. So a big situation there in Japan from Typhoon Hagibis. I also heard that, I think it was Saturday, as the typhoon was approaching, they had a 6.0 earthquake in the area as well. So they're definitely getting their share of natural disasters in Japan. This is W7JLW, and this is the Yuma Skywarn General Information Net. And the other weather item is the East Coast. There's a big storm out east, and it's probably going to blow out, which is going to cause it to just drop all its moisture. But a northeast coastal storm will unleash a combination of soaking rain and strong winds Wednesday and Thursday from the mid-Atlantic states to New England. A sharpening plunge of the jet stream will drive a cold front and low-pressure system from the Great Lakes toward the East Coast. This strong jet stream will then induce a second area of low pressure to form near the East Coast and intensify as it moves toward New England Wednesday night and Thursday. This second low could intensify fast enough to undergo bombogenesis, a term meteorologists used classifies surface lows whose pressure drops by at least 24 millibars in 24 hours or less. What all this means is that the Northeast will see wet and windy conditions from Wednesday through Thursday. Rain will spread from the eastern Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and the Appalachians to the mid-Atlantic states, Hudson Valley, and southern New England on Wednesday. The rain could impact Game 4 of baseball's American League Championship Series in the Bronx between the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees. If a Game 5 is needed in the National League Championship Series in Washington, D.C., that game could also be impacted. Wednesday night, as the low intensifies, strong winds are most likely along the coast of southeast New England and also over the Appalachians from southern Pennsylvania to Virginia and West Virginia. Rain should eventually end in most areas from New York City south overnight, except some wraparound rain showers are expected from parts of the eastern Great Lakes to the mountains of West Virginia. On Thursday, rain will continue from New York State and parts of Pennsylvania into New England as the strong low pressure center heads north toward Maine. The most soaking rain Thursday will be in upstate New York and northern New England. Precipitation will slowly diminish in these areas Thursday night. Some wet snow may dust the peaks of the Adirondacks, Green and White Mountains, but little snow will fall elsewhere. Gusty winds will linger through much of the Northeast Thursday, with the strongest winds in New England and particularly Maine. All right, that's what I have tonight. Does anybody have anything weather-related they've been dying to share with the group since we last met? Please come forward at this time. All right, nothing heard. As a reminder, there will not be a net again next week. We'll meet again on the 29th, as I will be unavailable on the 22nd. Skywarn is a public service organization of volunteers working with the National Weather Service to provide timely notifications regarding severe weather and related damage. Official Skywarn nets may be activated anytime anticipated or current weather conditions meet reporting criteria. It is important that Skywarn spotters remain vigilant and aware of changing weather conditions. I want to thank everyone for participating tonight. I wish to also thank the Yuma Auxiliary Communications Service for sponsoring this net and allowing it to be held on their repeater. This has been the Yuma Skywarn General Information Net. This net is held Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Arizona time on 146.780 megahertz with a PL tone of 103.5. This is W7JLW, releasing the frequency back to normal use. Have a good evening, everyone.